Hey Marina.
Hey Natalie, how are you doing?
So well. Okay, actually, I lied. Okay, so I had this little bit of like jealousy. You know what I'm talking about? Like you see these other bloggers who are doing so much better than you with their online businesses, saying how they're making like $1 million. And you're like, where's my $1 million?
I know exactly what you mean. I feel like that's also happened to me as well. Not only with blogging, but also with your YouTube channel. Sometimes I'm just looking at my stats, comparing to people who started later than I did, and now they have more subscribers, more views on their videos, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Why do they have these huge successes? And I just feel like I'm lagging behind.
Right? I'm like, what is going on? Right? Like, so how do we, maybe you guys are watching and you feel the same way. You're checking out someone's blog and you're like, oh my gosh, they have so many comments, they have so many shares, they have so many subscribers, and you're just like, only my mom reads my blog. So been there. Except my mom didn't because she can't use a computer. So my mom won't read my blog. Yeah, so we're just gonna share how we deal with those feelings of, just the self-worth, imposter syndrome, that we're behind, that we're late, that we suck when it comes to blogging, YouTubing, and being, having an online business. So Marina, how do you deal with those feelings?
That's an excellent question. And one thing that I love doing, and I feel like I've been doing basically since I started my blog and my online business, is just writing down every single little piece of success. So if it's because I have like a 10% open rate compared to a 5% open rate before on an email, or maybe it's because like someone I got like on an Instagram picture 100 likes rather than 90. Like even those like little small wins, if you think about there are other people who may be getting thousands and thousands of likes or a 50% open rate on an email, if it's just a little bit better than it was before, I'll just write it down and celebrate the win. So celebrate every single win that you achieve, even if comparative to other people that may seem small. For you, that win is a huge deal. And if you're slowly but surely celebrating all of your wins, you'll just get excited when you get better, and your focus will shift from other people to yourself.
I love that. It reminds me of, that idea that the only person you're in competition with is yourself, right? So you and I are not competitors. I am competing against who I was yesterday and the day before yesterday. And that's kind of the mindset that we need to have. We're all on our own journey. And it's easy to look at someone's like however many over 10,000 subscribers like Marina has, and to feel like, oh, my 10 or my 100 subscribers is not a lot. But, like it didn't just happen overnight for anyone, even though it can seem that way. And yeah, there are rare cases where like someone blows up overnight, but we don't know what they went through, the hard work they put in to like finally figure that out.
That's very, very true. And going hand in hand with what you just said, I like comparing my success to 1 year prior. So just think, where was I 1 year before where I am today? How much money was I earning? How many subscribers did I have? How many email people did I have on my list? Or how were my blog stats? So just take a look at all of that and put it in perspective 1 year later, just to see how much I've grown, how much I've achieved in that year. Because sometimes we get really nitty picky on like month to month, and sometimes things are going great and sometimes things are not going that well. But in everything in life, everything is cyclical. So sometimes you'll have a great month and then you'll have 2 or 3 months that you don't perform as well, but then things go back up. So
Mhm.
sometimes when you take things in the longer term, sometimes it's 1 year or 2 years, and you just put everything in perspective, you're like, wow, 1 year ago, I was like in a completely different place than where I am today.
I totally agree. So, like, for example, I don't track things I do, successes. I'm like not into journaling. So, like, that doesn't really do it for me. But what I do, for example, even when I log into my Google Analytics, it's automatically set to comparing 1 year ago, but not just the date, but the day of the week. So, because your traffic fluctuates from Sunday to Saturday. So as long as I'm up, I'm happy. I compare, my Mediavine income to the previous year. And as long as I'm up, I'm happy, right? So these are like little things that I can log in and check within a couple of seconds that make me feel better. Also looking at my YouTube watch time. I'm still super new at this, but like I shared with Marina, it took me 2 weeks to get my last 100 hours of watch time. Before that, it took 3 weeks. Before that, it took 4 weeks. And before that, it took like over a month, right? So I do see the evidence that things are speeding up. And, one thing I always say to myself, and I encourage you all as well, is that I don't need to be first. I don't need to be the first person who's ever made 6 figures blogging or $1 million or a 90K month, whatever. I don't need to be first. I don't need to be the best. I don't need to get there the quickest. I don't need to, I don't need, I don't need that, oh, I'm the best. Oh, I'm da da da. I just know that I'm going to get there in my own time as long as I keep going. So I encourage everyone, you don't need to be first, you don't need to be best, and you don't need to be the fastest. You just need to keep going at your own pace and you will get there if you don't give up, right? So don't let anyone else's success discourage you, but just be encouraged because other people are figuring it out. That's my rant.
And those other people's successes to fuel your own. Maybe just study them. Why are they this huge success? Why are you looking up to them? And maybe if you figure out what is working for them, you can even test those things out in your own business because they may, or they even may not, but they may work in your favor as well. So use their success to fuel your own, but focus on your own effort. Focus on the time, on the things that you're achieving in your own business, the things that you're putting in, because the output will come eventually if you're putting in the effort.
And to that, I would also say just be careful with getting distracted by what's working for other people. Because say, for example, I'm in the middle of updating a course and relaunching. That's months of work. But I could get distracted by somebody else. Oh, do this type of affiliate marketing and you can make da 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 da. And then I drop the thing that I've been building. So I think there's also, you need to have a bit of discernment in terms of if what you've been doing has not been working, you're not growing, then try something else. But if you're busy building, keep your head down and just keep working and forget what anyone else is up to,
Also true, because there are different phases in your own business. Because exactly, if you're working on building this online course or revamping an online course that already exists, you're not spending that time selling it, but the sales will come eventually once that course is completely worked out and you've done a whole lot of a job to make it the best that it can possibly be. So also just think about which phase you're in. If you're creating new content or if you're actually going out and promoting new content, maybe you're not going to get that money right now, but you will in a few months down the line.
100%. I feel so much better. I don't feel salty or jealous at all. So hopefully you guys feel better too. And we encourage you to subscribe to our channel. So you can subscribe to my channel where I share Pinterest tips, and
you can subscribe to my channel where I help you stand out online. And also make sure that you watch this video over here for even more tips for your own online business.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.